Hey everybody, I'm John. I collect cards. Hope you're all doing well. It is Wednesday night, January 17th, and in this video I wanted to give you an update that I feel like is long overdue on the progress of my 1978 Topps Hall of Fame run. It is down to 7 cards that I need, and I wanted to kind of give an indication of the progress I've made toward this 55 card goal through the stacks of cards you see in front of you. The first card I picked up in this quest was in April of last year, and I've made pretty good headway in it. I think you could, I think that's safe to say. I'm looking forward to tackling the last 7. But what I wanted to do here first is I'm going to mention the last 7 that I need. But first, I'm going to show you my 9 or 10 most recent pickups that I haven't shown previously. 1, 2, 3, 4, pardon me while I count, 5, 6, 7, 10 pickups. So I've got 10 cards I'm going to show you here that I've picked up in, probably the last 6 weeks. I can't remember the last time I did an update video on my 78 goal. But I'm going to run through the cards here right now. All right, so without further ado, the card I picked up after my last video on this was this Carly Yastrzemski in a near mint 7. I don't have the prices in front of me that I paid for. Actually, no, I do. I did jot them down. So I will. I don't mind sharing the prices I paid for these as I go, just to give you an indication of kind of the ballpark that I'm trying to aim for the vast majority of these cards. It's basically anywhere in the $10 to $20 range. When possible, for an 8 or a 7 PSA. All these are PSA. And so I got Carly Yastrzemski here in a 7. $14.50 was the final price before tax and shipping. So, and of course, sometimes shipping costs vary depending on the particular card I purchased, but I don't have those numbers in front of me. But I am going to share the actual auction price, final auction price, or the buy it now price on these. Just again, in case it offers a little bit of extra info. If anyone out there is looking to collect similarly in terms of 78s in 7s or 8s. So after the Yaz, I purchased Raleigh Fingers. Got him in an 8. It's a mix of old and new labels, I'd say. The Yaz was a fairly new label, actually. Raleigh here is a pretty old label, old slab. Raleigh here came in at $18 for an 8. So a nice one there. After Raleigh, this next one actually was a big one. This next one is arguably the hardest card to find in the whole Hall of Fame run, because he's the newest of the Hall of Famers. But I managed to get him. Just sort of like you got to be, keep an eye out for it, and if if the card shows up, just kind of have to be ready to pounce, so to speak. And that was the case with Jim Cott. So I've added the Jim Cott to the Hall of Fame run here. I thought there was a chance that this would be the last card that would be in the list, in the whole collection. Turned out to be, in the latter third, I guess you could say. So I was kind of fortunate that I was able to pick this up when I did without too much effort. I mean, it was definitely some effort. I was trying to keep an eye out for a while. There just aren't many of these. There aren't many Jim Cotts in 7s or 8s yet. And there just aren't that many slabbed. So I found this in an 8, and I did pay for it. But sometimes, again, when they become available, you just have to make the decision and go. It's almost like, I lived in New York City for a few years, way back in the 90s. If the right apartment in Manhattan or even in Brooklyn, presents itself, you got to sign that lease and snag it before someone else does. And that was the case with this Cott in an 8. I paid $50 for this card. I believe it was a buy it now. I think it was a buy it now, and I I just decided to pick it up. It's not a great 8. I will say that. It's not a great 8. You can tell that's back is pretty off center. It's an older slab, but again, the front centering's pretty good. Again, when it comes up, when this card came up, I had to be ready for it, and I wanted to just cross it off my list, and so I did. So I've got the Jim Cott. So I'm pretty happy about that. After Cott, I picked up Bruce Sutter. Paid $16.75 for him. I think that was an auction final bid that I won on. Card number 325, got him in an 8. This is his second year card. Pretty nice one there. Next up after Suter, I picked up Johnny Bench. I settled for Bench in a 7. I made a conscious decision. Sometimes there's some hard decisions to make when it's, when you're kind of trying to keep within a reasonable expenditure as a whole for the entire allotment. And I made a tough call to settle for the 7 on Johnny Bench. And it is a little off center too, but I managed to get it for $10. So when that, and I can't remember honestly if it was a buy it now or an auction. I think it must have been an auction. I probably got it as an auction if I had to guess. But the fact that I was able to get it for $10 in a 7, it's hard to beat. So I was able, in my mind, mentally to be okay with this because of the price that I got it at. If this was a 7 for $20, I probably wouldn't have, went for it. But in this case, I was happy with the 7 at the price that I got it for, especially given I paid, $50 for Cott. Knowing that was a very good possibility was going to happen and turned out to be the case. Got 5 more cards to show, a couple of record breakers coming up. After Johnny Bench, I picked up Reggie Jackson. There are 3 Reggie Jackson cards in 78 tops, and this finally represents my first of the 3 Reggies that I have in the set, or in the Hall of Fame run. So I got him in an 8. This one, card number 7, most homers, 1 World Series. Really good record breaker card, given his Mr. October heroics in 77. And one thing with Reggie, my goal with Reggie Jackson in this set with his 3 cards, with me being a Yankees fan, I want all of his cards in an 8. So that is a goal of mine. For this one, I paid $20 for this card. That's a pretty nice one, I think. Even if it is an older slab, I think it's a pretty nice example. After that, I picked up card number 1. Lou Brock's record breaker, most stolen bases lifetime. Managed to get this one in an 8, which I was pretty happy about. This one ran $24. Got this one for $24. This one's a little pricier than, it's definitely pricier than his regular base card in the set. And I can't remember what the VCP average is for this, but it's right around that mark. It's right around 24 or even a touch above. So I was pretty happy with this, and in a fairly new slab as well. So I like that one. Nice to get that crossed off. And then I've got 3 more to show. This next one, Sparky Anderson. The managers, there are some of the managers I knocked out right away in this quest, but then there are a couple that have been kind of lagging and kind of like nagging in terms of me wanting to pick them up, and hard to find 7s or 8s for some of these, a couple of these stragglers, so to speak. But I finally managed to get Sparky Anderson, and I did get him in an 8. And it is an ancient slab, as you can tell, but the flip is still pretty okay. It's not like warped or anything. It's actually pretty all right. So at least that's the case. And it came in a new PSA sleeve too, which was nice when it got delivered to me. So that helps a little bit too, just in terms of looking at it at a glance. This one ran me $18. So I got Spark, and this one was, I believe I had to put a couple of offers in with the seller. I sort of was negotiating a little bit on this one. Managed to get it for $18. All right, next up, 2 more to show. These are my 2 most recent pickups for 78 tops, Hall of Famers. I got Willie McCovey, card number 3. This is probably the most like interesting or oddball of the record breakers from this set. Most times 2 home runs in an inning lifetime, which was what, twice, maybe 3 times? Twice. 2 times to do it, so let's make a record breaker card out of it. But you know what, William McCovey was a all-time great slugger, so let's make that record breaker card, and it's a pretty cool shot of him there. Finally managed to pick this one up, a bit of an older slab. I actually got this one off of ComC. It was on eBay, but I finally managed to get some funds in my ComC account. Meanwhile, I still have a stash of cards I never have actually sent to ComC, even though I have been thinking about it and mentioned that I do it, and I haven't actually sent them off yet. And we'll see if that ever happens, but maybe it will. But a little bit of a digression there, but like the closer I get to packaging them up and getting the order slip done, it's like I start thinking about all the work it's going to take to price them all and all that stuff. And it's supposed to be less work than eBay, but I still haven't gotten over that hump yet in sending them off. I'll probably get there, but I'm not there yet. But I did pick this up off ComC, and I got it for a pretty good price. I think I got it for $15. Yep, $15 for this one. Card number 3 in the set. And then the most recent card I've picked up, just got it in the mail 2 days ago, I think, earlier this week. Carlton Fisk, card number 270, got it in an 8. And $20.50 was the auction win on this one. This one did come via auction. His cards on Buy It Now are pretty high for this card in this grade, and so it took me a while. I stayed patient on this best I could, and finally got it at a reasonable enough, in my opinion, auction price of $20.50. So that's where we stand with 78. I need 7 cards, which means I have 48 of the 55. It's pretty cool to see, where it's come. So I'm excited to pick up these last 8 here in the weeks, or last 7 here in the weeks to come. And I'm going to run down what they are, starting in card order. So no surprise probably for if you've been following along with my videos on this goal. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for doing that, for watching as I kind of track my progress on this quest. Again, 1978 Topps was the first set I collected. First packs I remember opening. I was 5 years old, and it's just a special set in that regard. So many of these images, kind of resonate with me deep in the memory banks and just merge with my appreciation and love for baseball. And it's all a big hodgepodge. But the design of the set, it's simple yet classic with the script. There's some really nice photography in some of these shots, especially with some of the Hall of Famers that are in this goal. So this has been a pretty fun and special goal I set for myself here, as part of my return to the hobby from 3 years ago. I finally got around to thinking I would do this, and I'm almost done with it now. So here are the last 7 I need. I need card number 36, Eddie Murray. I need the Eddie Murray rookie card. I need number 93, Bobby Cox, manager. I need card number 200, Reggie Jackson. I need card 202, home run leaders, Jim Rice and George Foster. I need card number 400, the Nolan Ryan. I need card number 413, Reggie Jackson World Series card. So like the Yankees World Series winner, but it's really a Reggie Jackson card. And finally, card 707, the Trammell Molitor rookie, along with Mickey Klutz and UL Washington. So the quad rookie there. So I kind of have a thought in terms of how I'm going to approach this, in terms of grades that I'm going to shoot for. I have resigned to myself that I'm going to settle for a 7 for the Ryan and the Trammell Molitor, strictly from a budget perspective. Because again, I want to try to keep this within reason in terms of overall costs. So this George Brett right here, this George Brett and the Jim Cott I showed earlier, those have been the two priciest cards I've had to outlay for so far at $50 each. Actually, no, Brett I think was 45. Cop at 50 was my priciest card. And so my thinking is I'm going to go just for the 7, and I'll be perfectly fine with that, because from 7 to 8, it's such a big leap in terms of price. So Ryan and the Travel Molitor are going to be 7s. I've already settled for that. Eddie Murray, I'm going to go for the 8. That I've kind of committed to. And the reason why I want the Eddie Murray as an 8 is because it's a solo rookie card. To me, that's particularly special. And Murray, Ryan, and Travel Molitor are really the big 3 cards in the set in terms of price. And so Murray, I've committed. I'm going to get that 8 in some, at some point, and they're always around. They're, always available. So, in what order I'll pick up those 3, we'll see. But Murray is going to be in an 8. Ryan and Travel Molitor will be in 7s. The other 4, I really hope they'll be in 8s. The Reggie Jackson card 200 in an 8 is going to be a decent outlay, actually. Those are not cheap. That's going to be at least $40 almost certainly. It's hard to find those for less than 40. But we'll see if I can get it under 40. I'm going to try for sure, because I want all 3 Reggies in an 8. And then finally, Cox and the home run leaders. Those are the 2 that have been the most, I don't want to say frustrating, but they've been a little frustrating in terms of finding the right card. Especially the Cox. Cox, there aren't many out there in 7s or 8s that are at least up for sale now. And the very few that I have noticed, they're just too high. They're too people want too much for them. So I've got to just bide my time, be patient. There are a few home run leaders cards out there, but it's like I've made a couple of offers on one, got declined on them by the seller, didn't want to go below what they had it at, and again, biding my time on that one. But so those again are the 7. Cox and home run leaders, like I should have them by now, but I feel like I should and I don't. But the others are, will fall into place as we go. And again, my goal is to have this set finished before the National, and I'm confident I will get there. But at the same time, I'm also picking up some other cards, to just, I'm not focused exclusively on 78. But I'm hopeful, very hopeful, that I'll have these last 7, hopefully even before spring, or maybe, let's say by May. I'd love to have this goal done. But that's where we are at this point. So I wanted to give you an update on where I'm at. I think I've touched third base. I think I'm heading for home on this goal. It's been very fun, and we'll see how long it takes to crack these last 7 and get them here. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to sharing more on this goal soon. Take care, and I'll see you on the next video.